Hello! All right, so this is new and exciting. We literally just came up with this, so you are all here just watching it as we go. It's rapid fire questions with Robyn, registered dietitian, and Leah. So, ready, set, go. Here we go. Robyn's favorite word is the F word. The F word is fiber. Robyn, tell us about fiber. How much fiber do we need to be healthy?
So fiber is so important and it's very undervalued. I don't think many people think so much about, am I getting enough fiber today or not? Women need 25 grams. The national average is about 15 grams of fiber. Men need 35 grams. We're not even close. 97% of Americans are not getting enough. Fiber is really good for digestion. It's really good for lowering your cholesterol. It's good for energy levels in the body. Fiber is only found in plant foods. You cannot get fiber in other sources like meat, dairy, and eggs. So it's very important that we do eat carbohydrates and we eat whole carbohydrates so that we get enough fiber in those kinds of foods.
What's your take on like a Metamucil or drinking your fiber?
It's a great question. So people usually think, oh, I'm not getting enough fiber. I'll just, take this Metamucil supplement. Well, Metamucil actually doesn't have that much fiber in it compared to whole foods. So I think I was looking at the label one time. It had 3 or 4 grams of fiber. A pear has 5 or 6 grams of fiber. Half a cup of raspberries has the same amount as that. You can eat a half a cup of oatmeal. You can eat 1 slice of whole grain bread. You are getting just enough when you actually eat the real food versus having Metamucil. And Metamucil usually is only one type of fiber, mostly soluble. And soluble fiber is really good at bulking up your stool. So it actually can lead to constipation if you take too much of it.
Okay, so you said pears and bread. Can you give us 3 others? So we'll do 5 awesome ways to get fiber.
I should have said the number 1 way that I think, which is beans. A half a cup of beans is usually 7 grams of fiber. A whole cup is 14. If you do that, you're like halfway there to getting your fiber goal already. So that one's a really good source. Quinoa is awesome. So is brown rice. Make sure that you go for the whole varieties of rice versus like the white rice. Bran flakes, breakfast in the morning, you want to do some raisin bran or bran flakes. That has like 7 grams of fiber per cup. So that's a really good source.
That's great.
As we are talking about other F words, you've made me think about fat. Robyn, what's the deal with fat? Is fat good for us? Is it harmful? We'd love to hear what your thoughts are.
So there's so many different fats out there. There's saturated fat that's found primarily in animal foods, but there are some plants that are really high in saturated fat that you kind of want to avoid. Usually like coconut or coconut oil is really high in saturated fat, and palm oil. You find a lot of palm oil in a lot of processed foods. That's really high in saturated fat. So that's usually the fat that raises your cholesterol and kind of clogs up the arteries. You kind of want to minimize that. It is found naturally in other plant foods like peanuts or other nuts, but at very minuscule amounts. But the monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats that you find in avocados and nuts and seeds, that's the healthy fat that we should be getting more of. So that one is good to have. So again, fat is fine. Fat is good for energy. Fat actually keeps you more satiated, but the type really does matter. There also is trans fat. I'm not going to really talk too much about trans fat because we have officially got rid of it from our processed foods. That's why palm oil has kind of snuck in, because palm oil is a great replacement for trans fats. So it's not good to have trans fat, but we don't really see it in our food system anymore.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Now, you talk a lot about plant-based, and for those of you who haven't watched the interview with Robyn, you are plant-based yourself, but you do have clients who are not plant-based. And so I was curious to know a little bit about how you approach a client that you might have who isn't plant-based, and do you take on clients who are not plant-based?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are actually some of my favorite clients because it's an opportunity, right, to educate them on eating more plant-based. If I get someone that already knows everything, it's good to help them and to make sure that they're eating higher quality plant-based foods. But when I get somebody brand new, this is my opportunity to teach them all kinds of new ways of eating. So usually what I do is start to identify meals or foods they already eat that are plant-based, because it's a really scary term to think plant-based foods. But if you just simplify it and say like pasta with marinara, that's plant-based, right? Or oatmeal with berries in the morning, that's plant-based. And you kind of say, oh, okay, well, I like those foods. And then eventually you get more comfortable with that. So then what I usually do is ask them to try 1 or 2 plant-based dinners a week. and then go from there. And then for breakfast or lunch, they can obviously eat plant-based. I say for lunch with your salad, either have chickpeas on top or they can do chicken, but maybe majority of the times do the chickpeas. That's a good source of protein as well. So I just educate them on their options of swapping things out and encouraging them to include more plant-based meals. Recently, I had somebody that tried eating more plant-based and immediately felt the difference, which made him do it more than 2 times a week. Now he's on to 3 or 4 times a week. So yeah, it all depends. I'm happy to meet anybody where they're at, but I definitely love to share plant-based eating with people so that they can try for themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This was wonderful. You did a great job with the rapid fire. You're clearly fabulous under pressure. So thank you so much, Robyn.